Welcome back to Us Against Everything. It's me, Liz, and Landon.
What's up, everybody?
Today we're going to be talking about something that honestly should not even exist. I wish this was fake. I wish this was some sort of creepy internet urban legend, but no, this actually happened. Now, have you heard about this before we decided to start researching it?
No, I've never even heard of this.
Well, it happened when you were just a baby, so that would make sense.
And of course, my family's not cool to tell me any of this.
You would think that they would share that. When you were just a wee boy. A wee boy. All right. Well, it happened August 7th, 1994, in a very small town called Oakville, Washington. It's funny because there's an Oakville in Ontario, too. Imagine it's raining. It's a normal day. Nothing weird. You look outside, and instead of water, it's these clear, jelly-like blobs falling from the sky. And it's not just one or two. No, it's thousands, covering the entire city of Oakville. Covering the ground, sticking to cars, rooftops, grass, everything. And people didn't just look at it, they touched it. Tried to clean up. Some didn't think anything of it at first until they started getting really sick flu-like symptoms. Breathing issues, weird infections, like something was in the air or in those blobs. And it was clearly not right.
I mean, okay, for 1994, I guess I could kind of see people not doing that. But after we had COVID, if this happened now and people were running outside and just hey, what are these clear, weird jelly blobs falling? We probably should not be touching that. We should probably get hazmat stuff before we just go and touch it.
I would have literally thought it was jizz flying around.
Absolutely. What is that?
Here's where it gets worse. Scientists actually tested it. And they found, something that made even less sense. Cells. Bacteria. Human white blood cells, from the sky? So the question now becomes, what exactly fell over Oakville, Washington? And why does no one have a clear answer as of today? Was it natural? Was it man-made? Was it military? Accidental? Or was it something that was never meant to be seen in the first place? Because the more we look into this, the weirder it gets and the less it feels like an accident. So today, that is what we are going to talk about. If you guys thought your love life was messy, just you wait. This was just a one-time weird event. The blobs didn't just fall once and disappear. They fell multiple times over several days. People started noticing they looked very clear. They had this gelatin clumps type of energy, and they were covering the roads. Apparently, it was even sticking to people's skin.
Not good, like I said.
Can you imagine? One woman described it like half-cooked rice or a clear jelly sandwich. Ew. I'm sorry. I would be screaming. I don't like that. And it wasn't just the smallest area. It was the whole town, which that part throws me off. Why just this town? Why not everything around it?
Because again, you have to do a test in a small area. So either they found something in this town that they did not want, or they were just testing it on a small group of people, a rural area that nobody really knows about.
I mean, it makes sense. They had to have been doing it close by to at least the town, right?
Exactly. A lot of people believe that we live in a big dome simulator already as it is.
Now, when it came to the sickness, they were feeling flu-like symptoms. Headaches, difficulty breathing, fatigue, even blurred vision. And it was not random. It was people who had come in contact with the blobs. There were also reports of animals getting sick, dogs, cats, even livestock. That is so sad. So now it's not just that's weird. It's what in the hell is it? So they did end up taking samples and collected it. They sent the collection to the labs. And then that's why it started to get messy with the human white blood cells. I mean, to me, that shows that there was blood in it, human blood, clearly. Others found two types of bacterias. One was linked to a human digestive system from the sky.
That is fucking weird.
Shortly after all of this happened, the investigation just kind of stopped. No clear explanation, no official conclusion, no real follow-up, just it happened, people got sick, and then silence.
Not surprising. That also another red flag that points to the government.
Right, because they must have gotten an answer, because they don't just stop looking at things.
What if it was the UFOs dropping all the bio waste from their experiments on humans?
That is very possible. That sent some tingles through my body. I always felt like this had a very UFO energy to it, so it's possible. What actually fell over Oakville? And why does it feel like we never really were meant to understand? Now that we know what happened, let's talk about what people think happened because, well, it gets weird. First theory, military testing. And I'm not going to pretend that that one does not make sense. You have helicopters flying over the area right around the same time. Then suddenly this unknown substance falls from the sky. It's possible, right?
My two theories are either the military and the government or UFOs.
That, for me specifically, that one's a little too convenient. Some people believe that this could have been some sort of biological testing, something airborne, something experimental.
Right, that's what I mean, like an experiment of some sort, or like I said, the UFOs dropping what they've already experimented on, and they're like, we don't need any of this.
Like a deadly virus. Like,
or what if they were making a deadly virus against us, using our own body fluids to create something?
Ooh, listen to you. There are people who believe that what fell over Oakville was actually like biological waste, like human waste dumped from an aircraft.
I read that people thought that too, which again, it could have been an aircraft, again, a specific aircraft, not just like a random plane.
Yeah, people said that they had some sort of smell odor to it as well.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Now, the third theory is weather manipulation. I know this one sounds dramatic, but we already know cloud seeding exists. We know that there are ways to influence patterns in weather. So the idea something went wrong or something being tested, I mean, it's possible, but
for the time frame though, like 1994, were they really doing stuff like that? I mean, they could have been. Yeah. They could have been. And they just were like hiding how advanced stuff was back then. But from what I'm thinking back in 1994, I don't really think it was like weather manipulation.
Yeah, I also don't agree with that one. But I can understand why people believe it.
Well, because they're going to believe anything, right? They just want something to believe in so that they don't feel like they were crazy.
Very true. Some people believe that it could have been some sort of organic material, not native to our environment.
But what would the white blood cells be then?
Well, something that broke apart in the atmosphere or something that was released and, trying to cover it up quickly.
I don't know. I don't buy that. That just...
Every theory seems to have holes in it. So that is why there is really no official explanation, at least from my vibe. But with that being said, this is something that really happened and people did get sick and evidence was collected. And, well, we're going to go through some questions here. Now, what exactly fell over Oakville? Like, what was it to its core? Not what they're saying, what it actually was. I'm going to say then I believe it's kind of like a combination of many different things. But here's where I'm at. When I heard this story, I believed it had something to do with aliens, UFOs. I also believe that our matter was there because, like you said, they were releasing these people's DNA back to us. And I don't necessarily feel like all of the matter was human. I'm going to say that these were the experiments on humans that went wrong.
Right. Maybe like they were trying to make some sort of hybrids, like half human, half UFOs, or half human, half animals. Like maybe they were experimenting on many different things, and then they just put all of the waste together and they realized they have no use for white blood cells, or they did have a use, which was creating some sort of weapon that would try to hurt us. Or here is an even crazier theory that I just thought of. What if, so there's like theories that on Jupiter, it rains like this, like acidy rain that kind of sounds like this. So what if whatever was dropped on them, they were from Jupiter and they wanted to see if we could also withstand this acidy rain?
That was kind of the part B that I was heading towards too, like purposely threw this at our people to see what it would do to us.
Right. Could we withstand it?
Yeah.
Would it kill us?
Absolutely. And clearly we could not handle it because we got sick. But you know what
But did anybody die?
There was not a person that died, but I heard that there were animals that died, which is
Yeah,
sad.
I seen that there was animals, but there was no case of an actual
person that got really sick but managed to come back okay.
So it's not like it was like
COVID.
I was about to say, like, COVID was more deadly. That killed 2.5 million people, whereas this didn't kill anybody.
Yeah.
People just got really, really sick.
Right. What do you guys think? I want you guys to let me know what you think in the comments about the blobs and what they are. Now, here's the other piece of it as well. I believe that once our scientists got their hands on it, although they shared some components, I don't believe they shared everything. And I also still believe that they still have samples in a lab frozen somewhere, and they should share this shit with us and go back and check it out and see if there's anything new.
They absolutely do. And they probably replicated it too and have even more. Now, here's a good one. If I saw something like this falling from the sky, am I staying calm or am I immediately like, yeah, no, something's wrong? Now, I'm doing both of those things. I am very calm in those types of situations, but also my mind is going 10 million miles a second where I'm like figuring out a plan already. So like I said, I'd be finding something to put on. I probably wouldn't be going outside until it was done. And then I'm like completely covering up in hazmat and going outside and collecting my own samples.
Absolutely. And these animals were probably like eating it.
Yeah, they probably were.
And I'm sure that kids probably tried to eat it too. Maybe even
I'm sure even adults, because they like a lot of people thought it was gelatin the way that it was.
Yeah.
Which, the only thing that came to my mind when this started was Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. Like food falling from the sky. People are like, hey, somebody's trying to feed us giant food.
Okay, totally different. If there was a big ass Italian meatball coming my way, I'm sorry, but I would be giving that a go.
Right, exactly. But animals,
hazardous material or not, sorry, the aliens are going to get me with meatballs.
But not even joking. But the other thing is a lot of animals, they just eat whatever. Look at Riddle and our dogs; they'll just eat whatever.
Riddle would have been sucking up the whole backyard. Now, why did it contain human white blood cells, and how does something like that end up falling from the sky? So this is the vision that I get from this. These are the tall gray experiments. I don't feel like there are any other species that are, at least in our orbit, that are completing experiments on us other than the tall grays. They're the more intelligent. They're like the scientists of the universe, basically. They're the smartest. They're quite cocky. They like to fuck with us a lot. They've been taken from us before. They're really into us. But I see that these people would go up there, and like I have mentioned on multiple occasions, They want to see if they can crossbreed with us. And they have been testing this theory for a long time. And I feel like this was one of those moments. They're even trying to test and see if they can impregnate men as well.
What if it was male alien sperm?
Quite possibly. It could.
And they were trying to just see if they
Yeah.
threw it on everybody.
If they would
be
get
able to
them
get pregnant.
pregnant. Oh my God. That is a very, as I'm looking at our little alien,
Right?
light, I'm sitting there looking at it like, oh my God, that is so, it's very possible because that is something that they were trying to do back then.
Right. They wanted to create with us, and I'm sure there is some half breeds walking around.
I don't
already.
think they're walking around here.
No, I mean maybe they are, but
I don't think so.
You never know.
I don't get that vibe. I get that.
Maybe not anywhere we've been.
No, the reason I don't get that vibe is I just don't feel like they would survive here on Earth. I feel like this is the thing, right?
Or maybe they're not here. Maybe they're in another galaxy somewhere.
Right. We have to think of crossbreeding as a dog for a moment, right? So when we put like a poodle and a golden retriever together, they make that golden doodle combo. They don't always look the same, right? They're going to look more golden. Some are going to look more poodle. Same thing with the UFOs, with aliens. Some are going to be more alien than, human. So they would survive.
Why couldn't I have been chosen?
I don't want you to be chosen. You have to be here with me.
I could take you with me and you can be chosen too.
I don't want to be chosen. I do not want to be a half-breed alien human.
Well, it's too late now.
Thank God.
We're already here, but
I don't want to birth a baby alien human.
But what if you were already born a half-breed? Then you wouldn't have a choice.
I mean, no, I wouldn't have a choice, but I would be really upset because...
You wouldn't, because you wouldn't even know any different.
I would know. I would be so sad. I don't want to be a half-breed of any sorts of any kind. I am pure Portuguese, baby.
Absolutely. Now, here's a question. For me, no, I would definitely not touch it. I would probably, like I said already, would not go outside until it was done. I would definitely want to collect my own samples.
Capture it, yeah.
I would never trust the government on what they would tell me in any capacity.
I would go and find Doc from Back to the Future, and I'd be like, Doc, we need to test this.
Yeah, I'd be finding somebody that I trust to test it. And that rolls into this next question, which at what point do you stop trusting the explanation you're being given? Immediately, because the government is never honest with what they find.
Yeah, you know what? They will give us what they feel we can handle.
Exactly. Very bits and pieces.
Very much so. But I got to be honest about something. Something Epstein related. And I'm going to point this out here real quick. So he is trying to gain favor right now, not dump. And I'm getting an overwhelming sense of feels that there's going to be some major UFO alien sightings, details, videos that are going to get released from back in the day. They're not going to do more of the new updated stuff, but things from the back in the day.
Yeah, they're going to show us stuff from back in the day because it's going to be very minimal. It's going to be like their first encounters with UFOs.
See how we handle it.
Right, because anything that's current is probably going to explode people's minds.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the advancement of technology now. Honestly, I truly feel like they have half-breeds like hidden in Area 51, and if they're not going to sit there and release that information right now, that would freak everybody out.
I mean, it's possible,
including
we
you.
Did our own half-breed experiments as well.
I'm 1,000% positive we did, because if I know anything from growing up in the USA is that we always have to be the first and the best to do everything.
I just don't feel like there was anything successful.
Not that they're successful, but I mean, they probably have it like in one of those cryo tanks or something where it's like frozen away.
Right. Well,
and they're going to wait till technology is able to bring them back to life.
Why did the investigation just stop? Who made that call? I mean, the higher ups, obviously the government had a huge say in that.
And probably even money too, because they need people to fund that. They probably just stopped having money for it.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree with that too, but I do believe, I feel like they found something out. I believe that there was a sample of alien tall gray sample specimen that was also found, and I believe that's where they left it.
Absolutely, which that rolls into that next question there. Do you think there's more found in those samples than was ever released? Obviously.
Oh, yeah, a lot more. Like human DNA for sure, but I also feel like there was I know they mentioned there was two bacterias and one was connected to the stomach, but I also feel like there was like a third and maybe even a fourth bacteria as well, kind of connected to see. How do I say this? Just to multiply things, to make things grow, mold. There's some sort of mold vibe. So I don't know. I'm not exactly sure what the hell that means, but if any scientific person has any information, please let me know.
Did they know what it was before testing even started?
No idea. No fucking clue. They were like, what in the shit is this?
So you're leaning more towards it being a UFO than anything else.
Yes.
So then that means that you don't really think the helicopters were connected.
No, I think that the helicopters, so I believe that when they started flying in and around, this stuff had already started falling. So I feel like they were kind of sent to be like, could go check and see what this is.
I personally do not think that this was an accident. I definitely think it was something intentional, and I'm also leaning more towards the UFOs. I truly believe it was probably some experiment that they were doing.
Absolutely. It just seems too coincidental, all in one area. It's being hidden from everybody. We were told some details, and the only reason I think we were told some details was because people were getting sick.
If this happened today, would we even be told the full truth? No, but I also don't think we would experience it today for the simple fact that back in 1994, nobody had a cell phone. Nobody had like a cell phone like we have today where they would be live streaming it, where that's exactly what would be happening today. People would be on TikTok holding their phone up. It'd be live streamed. There would be no way to get around any of that information. Scientists would be out there. Everybody would be out there figuring out what this was.
I mean, you are not wrong on all of that. I also believe that we would also be testing it our own as well.
That's what I'm saying. Everybody would be doing their own experiments on it.
Yeah.
Everybody be live streaming it falling. It would just be chaos already.
People
online.
Would be swimming in it, just
right.
Like when the hurricanes in Florida were happening and the guy in the boat. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
He was just sitting there in his houseboat waiting for this to fucking come
right.
in.
He went viral. People were like giving him money. It's like there's no way they would be able to cover this.
People were swimming in poo water.
Right. There's no way they're covering that up.
They would probably bring the National Guard out and like do a clean sweep of the area. And
absolutely, everybody would be there. The CIA, FBI, the National Guard. They'd be removing people, evacuating people, and they would be building a wall around it. Like,
and then we'd get a full video of Nod Dump being in the middle of it while one of it
we're winning
falls in his face, and then everyone's taking pictures, making diamond paintings, the whole spiel. Would you feel safe staying in a town after this, or would you leave immediately?
I think I would probably want to leave, because I wouldn't know if this would happen again. And especially if I was somebody who got sick or was close to death or something happened. Like some people were complaining that it was like burning them. Like I have sensitive skin. What if it burned through my skin? Like, why would I want to stay there?
Yeah, no, I would definitely want to bounce out of there too, for sure. But I would also wait around a little while to make sure everything, stayed copacetic. And the biggest one, why does it feel like this was quietly pushed away instead of fully investigated?
I think they didn't have the answers either of what it was, until later on. And then when they found out what it was, they were like, oh, we can't tell people this. It will cause mass hysteria.
No. We can't tell people that it's
alien sperm trying to get people pregnant.
Oh my God, people would have a fucking canary. Oh my God, I got pregnant. I got HIV from the UFOs.
It would just be mass hysteria, which is why they didn't tell us. That's why.
Absolutely.
And I do believe honestly that it was fully investigated. We just don't know anything about it.
Yeah, that piece of it is also something I don't disagree with you whatsoever.
Because again, like I said, if you know anything about the government, they are always looking, watching, recording. They have all this stuff. So they definitely tested this. They definitely went through this. They just don't want to tell us what it was. They gave, like you said, the basic answer, like it was nothing. Everybody's fine. We can figure this out. We can care for people. You'll be fine.
Absolutely. But that is why this is one of those things that people just didn't understand. And it's still, people are still questioning it today. No clear explanation, no accountability, no follow up that actually makes sense. Just something falling from the sky affecting an entire town. And then, nothing. That's why it makes everyone question it, right? I'm glad that we came here today to talk about it. I appreciate your thoughts on it. I also was heavily leaning towards the UFO side, so I'm kind of glad that we're on the same page with that one. But speaking of moments, we actually had a fan request talking about vampires, and I love talking about vampires, I'm not gonna lie. So our next episode will be about vampires, and we're gonna go deep dive into those ones. So if you guys are interested, definitely make sure to tune in. Also, share this episode, share this podcast. We really love you guys. But, going back to the Oakville Blobs, they get stranger the more you look into them. I hella recommend for you guys to go and look up these things and see them for yourselves because they are creepy. I do wish I got a chance to feel them because no matter what, it's
us against everything.